Hello students and parents, and welcome to another video in this series. This video will be focused primarily on the driving range. We're going to go over the timeline of how long it takes to get through range and what we're going to be doing each day of the week for our range time. We're going to go over expectations of what students are supposed to follow and what they're supposed to do when they come out to range and establish some norms. This video will be useful to you if you are preparing to come out to the range so you know what to expect, and it's also available after the range. So if you need to come out to the range in an empty parking lot and you want to practice these skills, there's video showing you how to do each of the skills that we're going to be practicing each of the days. So please take advantage of this video and come prepared or practice after completing the range. This will be a review from the previous video. On the previous video, we talked about all 4 lanes. We are currently on lane 2. We're on step 2 of the Fremont driver education course. And you should have completed theory. And now we're moved on to the range where we can refine our driving skills and start putting the things we've learned into practice in a controlled environment where you guys can make mistakes and try to experiment with your vehicle and see where boundaries are without damaging your own family's vehicles in a controlled space, right? And you got to be out here for 4 days. We're going to need you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then most of the time it's going to be Thursday, but sometimes that Thursday class gets bumped to Saturday because our parking lot's needed for events. And so just plan on having a week set apart for range, and we'll need you for an hour and a half each day for a total of 6 hours. When the time comes for you to join us on the range, we do have a few expectations of you. One is to bring your permit every day and to please make sure that it is valid. When I say valid, we're looking at the date and it has not expired. If once it expires, we have to go back to the DLD and get a new one. All right, so please make sure it's not expired. We like to check these with you every day you come to class and make sure that they're not expired and we're following what's prescribed on the permit. An example of this is corrective lenses. If it says on there that you need to be wearing corrective lenses, make sure you bring your glasses and you're wearing your contacts when you come on the range. We're making sure that we're following the rules just as if we're driving on a regular road. A couple rules. No speeding. The speed limit's 5 miles per hour. I know it's slow, but we're working on technical skills and working in a small, tight environment. 5 miles an hour is plenty of speed for what we're working with on the range. Second is no cell phone use. Your phone should be put away until you're 18. It should be out of sight. That's the rule, and you can get a ticket for that. So as a minor, under 18, you need to put your phone away. Now, when you're the first class that comes, you need to help me set up cones and us instructors. There is a map that's got orange, green, yellow, and red dots, and you're going to be putting out cones for the day activities. And it will be different every day, and so you just need to follow the map and set up those cones for us. We're going to be pulling the cars out and getting them ready, and that takes a few minutes because you pull a car out, you got to walk back, pull out the next car, pull out the next car. And while I'm doing that, and the other instructors are pulling out cars, we need you to be setting up the cones, okay? And at the end of the day, the last class is going to be helping us take down the cones and putting them away, and we can show you that when you join us, okay? And lastly, we're going to be applying all of the rules we learned in theory class to the range, okay? And that is we're going to obey all laws and rules just as if they were on a regular road, okay? So if we're in a turn lane that only turns left, we must turn left, okay? We aren't to treat the range like a parking lot. It's meant to be treated just like a traditional roadway. Here is an image of the driving range map, okay? It consists of 4 major roads. At the very top, you'll see there is Donut Street that goes all the way around. There's Main Street that runs down the middle. Okay, it runs from north to south. It runs toward the garages, toward the high school. And then you have Center Street, which it intersects with. And then there's Broadway, which is our 2-lane highway for our range. It's not a lot of room, but it's enough to do lane changes, and you can see that there on Broadway there's a day where we practice lane changes. So those are the 4 major streets, and then there's all these colorful dots of orange, green, and yellow, and there's even some red ones on there. These dots are where cones will be placed, and you can actually see on the range where there's little markings on the range and colorful dots, and those are where the cones are to be placed. So students are responsible for putting out the cones in the first class, and they're responsible for taking them down at the end. And essentially, we work through skills for the first 3 days, and then the final day, we practice and go through all of the skills that we've learned. Okay, so familiarize yourself with this map. If you come in after hours, you can review this map and practice all of the skills, and you can spend some time getting ready for range. Or if you're after range and you want some more time to practice the parallel park, well, here is a map showing you all the skills so you can remember everything that you need to be working on. The rest of this video is going to be focusing on teaching all of the skills. I filmed driving on the range, all of the skills that are necessary for the range, so you can review and practice them at home or on the range if you'd like, and to help establish the expectations of what we want to do on the range. So on day one, we're going to be focusing on head checking, 45 and 90 degree parking, the figure 8 exercise, and lane changes. In this first clip, we are going to be making a right-hand turn. Now, to make a proper right-hand turn, we need to signal for at least 2 seconds. We need to check our back mirror, our rear view mirror, our side mirror off to the right, and we need to head check. Now, a head check is looking over your shoulder out the back passenger window. So the passenger sitting next to you, it's the window behind the passenger seat. All right, so you're going to signal, you're going to check your mirrors, and you're going to head check. Now, the reason we're doing this is to create awareness. We're going to stop at that stop line for about 2 to 3 seconds, and if it's clear, you can proceed. So we'll do the same thing on a left-hand turn. So we're going to signal, we're going to check our mirrors, we're going to head check to the left, pause for 2 to 3 seconds at the stop behind the line, and if it's clear, we're going to proceed. In this next skill, we're going to be working on a 45-degree park. So before we can park, we need to signal, and we need to head check on our way into our parking spot. Now, when you come into these spots, it's going to take practice, and I'd like you to get out of your vehicle each time you get into a stall and take a walk around the vehicle to see your spacing. Now, when you're backing up, you must go in the direction in the lane that you enter first. So as you're backing up, you can't cross lanes of traffic going backwards. So the first lane I enter is going toward the high school, so that's the direction I will be going in. In this next skill, we're going to be focusing on the figure 8. So we're going to signal and head check as we enter. And the trick to this is focusing on the back tires, not the front tires. So every now and then, if you feel like you're crossing the line, stop your vehicle, open your door, and just see where your car is. Okay, just keep an eye out and that you're not crossing the lines. So focus on the rear tires, not the front tires, as you're making this turn. Think about where that back tire is. Now, if you're looking for more of a challenge, I don't expect you to do this on day one, but if you're getting kind of bored at the end of the week, you can do it backwards. And I'm going to demonstrate here doing it in reverse, and you can also do this as well. Okay, I don't expect this on day one, but if you want to challenge yourself by the end of the week, doing it in reverse is possible. In this next skill, we're going to be doing a 90-degree park. Now remember, you have to signal and head check on your way into the parking spot. Every time you park your vehicle in one of these, I'd like you to get out and take a lap around your vehicle to get familiar with the spacing. One of the tricks to parking in and pulling in enough is using reference points. Now, underneath your mirror, if you're sitting up in your car and you're looking off to the left with your side mirror, That front white line of the parking stall should be right underneath your mirror. Okay, that's a nice indicator of how far you should pull in. So use that reference. When you're backing in reverse, remember, you must travel in the direction of the lane that you first enter. Okay, you cannot cross lanes of traffic going in reverse. This will take about 15 to 20 times to practice. In this skill, we're going to be working on a lane change. Now, lane changes, you do not make them in the intersection. So I have to stop at the stop line, cross the intersection, then I can signal, check my rear view mirror, my side mirror to the left, and then head check to the left to do a proper lane change. And I'm going and not stopping because I'm crossing a yield at that yellow block. There is 8 different combinations of lane changes on the range. So get creative and do different combinations on Broadway. We're on to day 2. There is 4 major skills we're working on today, and that is the T-square, the garages, hill parking up and down, and the 3-point turn. Remember, the skills that we learned on day 1 are still being practiced today. We are not done with day 1 skills. You can go back and practice those skills. We're just adding to them each day. In this first skill on day 2, we're going to be doing signal and head check into the T-square. Now, the T-square has 3 sides, and you'll pull in right down the center. Now, you can choose to back to the right or to the left. I chose to back toward the right. And what you're going to do is back until you get right next to that orange cone there. Like so. And then you're going to pull forward across to the cone on the other side of the T, going forward. And then you're going to back up toward the cone that you originally started at. Now, you may have seen me hit that cone there. I want you to go as far as you can. I want you to find out where the front of your car is. I want you to get right up there as close as you can to that cone, because the closer you get to that cone, the more easily you can make those turns. Good. And then you can proceed out of the T-square, as so. And make sure to stop. You're going to signal and head check as you proceed out. Okay, the second skill on the second day is the garage. Now, there's 2 garages. There's orange and green, and they are opposite of each other, so make sure to do both of them. I'm only going to show you the orange garage in this video. So you're going to signal and head check on the way in, and you're going to pull into the first stall. And you'll notice the stall is green, and the other one to the right of it is orange. So you're going to pull in as far as you can, and then you're going to back up until you're almost in the roadway, but not in the roadway, right between those 2 orange cones. And then you're going to pull into that second stall on the right. I like to break this up into multiple steps. So before I back up, I want to make sure that I'm behind that orange cone that's separating the 2 stalls. You'll see me back up a little bit. And then once I'm at that point where I can get around it, I'm going to break it up into turn, straight, turn. So you'll see me turn. Now I'm going straight, and then I'm going to turn again. So break it into steps, turn the wheels, then move. Turn the wheels, then move. So turn, straight, turn. And this maneuver will help you as you prepare for the parallel park. And you'll notice in this orange garage, I have to go in that direction because that's the first lane I enter, and turning right on Broadway is the direction. In this third clip for day 2, we're going to be doing the hill park and 3-point turn in the same area. So the key to getting over to doing a hill park is to get over early. Don't be slowly getting over the curb. Turn your wheels and get over. So you're going to see me signal and head check, and then I'm going to get over early and line myself up with the curb so I'm nice and parallel with it. Okay? Now, you're going to put it into park and set your parking brake. It is different for each vehicle, so consult the instructor or your own vehicle at home where that parking brake is. And then you need to turn your wheels in the proper direction. If you turn them away from the curb, you're parking uphill. If you turn them toward the curb, you're parking downhill. You want the car to roll in the direction if it were to lose its brakes. Okay? You want to roll into the curb. Now you're going to signal and head check, and then you're going to do a 3-point turn and make sure that traffic's clear. Now you're going to go as far over as you can and then back up as far as you need. Be efficient on a 3-point turn. Do not back up all the way across the road. Just back up enough that you can make that turn and then stop at that stop line there. Day 3 will be the last day of learning new skills. In this video, we're going to be reviewing parallel parking and U-turns. On the range, there are 2 locations to do U-turns, one on a single lane and one on a dual lane highway. For the parallel park on the range, you're going to have 2 cars that you're going to be parking in between, and they are represented with cones. The first car is the yellow car, and it's represented with 2 cones, and it's signified by its headlights. So those 2 yellow cones are the headlights of the yellow car. Then across from that, there's 2 orange cones representing the taillights of the orange car, and then the farthest orange cone is the side mirror of the driver of that orange car. The green cone represents the curb that you're parking against. So you're going to line up bumper to bumper with the orange car with those taillights there. Now, what you're going to do next is turn your wheels to the right, and you're going to do a maneuver called turn, straight, turn. So take this in pieces. So get your wheels to the right, and as you swing out, make sure that you look in your side mirror and head check so that there's no traffic coming, and you're going to aim for about a 45-degree angle, maybe even as shallow as 35. So there's kind of a nice angle there that you're looking for, and then you're going to come to a stop. You're going to turn your wheels straight, and then you're going to back into the stall. Okay, now when you back in, you can use your passenger mirror as a reference point. If you can see that white line on the ground there for the edge of the road, just back up until that mirror crosses that line. If you have a camera, there's some tricks you can use to kind of see how far back you can go. And then once you've gone back far enough, I want you to turn your wheels to the left and then fall into the spot. So it's just turn, straight, turn. And you're doing each maneuver, turning the wheels, then moving the car, turning the wheels, then moving the car, okay? Once you've got yourself in the stall, what I'd like you to do is take a lap around your vehicle and sense where you need to adjust your movements, okay? Now to get out of this, you're going to pull forward, okay? Turn your wheels to the right, and then you're going to back up. And as you back up, you actually create an opening for yourself to exit and give yourself room as you pull out of the parking stall. As you see there, I created a little bit of an angle for myself, okay? And then make sure to signal and head check on your way out, okay? For this next skill, you're going to be doing a U-turn on a single lane highway. So you're going to signal and head check, and then you're going to pull off of the roadway, and the road that you're on is Center Street, and you're going to come to a complete stop. Once you've stopped, you can signal and then check your mirrors and head check, and then you can make your turn. Now, you will go off the roadway a bit. We are a little bit short on space on the range, but you can then re-enter the roadway. The second U-turn, you're going to be doing it on a 2-lane highway, and it's being emphasized there by that orange cone by the blue pole. Now, when you make this turn, make sure to signal and then head check and make sure it's clear. I'm going through a yield, so I don't have to stop. And I'm going to end up in that outer lane. Now, if you want to do a U-turn on the other side by the stadium, you can also do that as well. On the 4th day of range, you're going to be working on all of the driving skills. So everything from day 1, day 2, and day 3, collectively, you will be practicing. So if you are struggling with the parallel park, go make time to do the parallel park. If you're still struggling with 90-degree parking, 3-point turns, 45-degree parking, U-turns, etc., I want you to spend time working on the things that you need to practice, okay? Your test is mostly just to see that you're capable of doing the skills successfully on your own without help, okay? We need to make sure that you're ready for the road, and we're just there to kind of observe and make sure that you are putting in the time and practice to be prepared for that time with us. One of the most common questions that we receive as instructors is, when am I going to drive? At this point, most students have finished the theory class, they have finished their range time, they know who us instructors are, and they are asking us every day, when are we going to drive? And we have a system in which we pick students in a proper order that is fair. And let me read you our policy and then highlight the things that are important. So after completing the range, students will be assigned a driving instructor for their behind-the-wheel training. Instructors select students based on an official lineup, which considers their class sign-up date and their birthday. So for example, let's say I have a student and he signs up in August. He's in the August theory class and he's 15. And by the time it comes around for him to drive, he's still 15, right? He will be driven before a student who started the class in October, right? Because we go off of when they started the class and then we work from oldest to youngest within that month because classes start every month. So for the August class, we'll work from oldest to youngest, and then we go to September and we work oldest to youngest, and then October from oldest to youngest. The idea is that just because you're 16 doesn't mean you get to drive first. That only applies within the month that you signed up for the class. Okay, so if someone in the earlier month signed up before you, they will be driven before you. So please sign up early. Okay, now let's read the rest of this. So students can ask any instructor where they are in the lineup when they can expect to drive. Instructors will contact students directly to schedule their driving sessions. So students have the freedom to come ask us. We will tell them, yep, it's going to be in about a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, etc. We're just providing an estimate. We're not being certain with what we're saying. We're just saying based on what we know on who's driving, who's available, we can give them an estimate. And that an instructor will reach out to them to schedule. Okay, and if you haven't heard back, feel free to come bother us, and we will easily give you an answer that you should be able to work with. Okay, thanks again for watching this video. If you have any questions, please come talk with an instructor, and hopefully these resources are useful to you as you practice.